spiritual, so the spiritual path, each person has their individual path, but in terms of organization, like, do you feel that an organization is needed?
Oh, this is an eternal question.
Yeah.
Okay, in the West, organization is more important. In the East, individual is more important. So, the fact is, human beings are social beings. We herd, and we like to be in company. So, a group of like-minded people is an organization. They need to eat, they need to sleep, they need to pee, they need to do several other things, take a shower. They need to live somewhere. That's an organization. There's no other reasons. Now, we all have similar intention, that's why we're bringing, we come together. But that is the point. I'm not trying to start a religion. The organization is, so for example, we have a non-profit status, that's only to allow people to give us tax-deductible donations. There's no any other reason. I applied for tax exemption on this house. The reason is to reduce expenses, and because it's legal. There's no other reason. My spiritual training is useful to some point, but it's really only useful if it serves you, it helps you. And ultimately, everything you do, you personally, has to come from what you want. Now of course you need to adjust it to other people. It's like, you may want right now walking naked on the street, and you may not do that because socially it's not acceptable. Same thing, like for example, today you have heard conversation during dinner. I like less spices, Josh likes more spices, he likes cooked food, I like raw food, whatever, and I'm not trying to represent what Josh is, but it's like, what do you expect? That you're going to like everything we like? Well, that's not a concentration camp, I mean, obviously you're going to have your own desires, you probably like playing music. I don't particularly like playing music. I'm basically a geek, you maybe not, So, at the same time we have something together because we just like being around each other. Is not this enough to form an organization? And one more thing I want to tell you is that when you're born in a certain family, even though technically, cosmically, you have chosen your parents and your brothers and sisters, the fact is, they say that you're cursed with your relatives, but you choose your friends. So our organization, just like any other good spiritual organization, we just choose to be with each other. That's all there is to it. Now there are some functional things we need to do, Money has to come from somewhere, okay? Just because we like each other, it doesn't mean that money is going to start growing on the trees around us, So there has to be some kind of business function, fundraising. We like to attract similar-minded people, so we would like to inform through certain media that we exist. And we can call it public relations, which it is, marketing, which it is, but it's not really about proselytizing, it's about basically informing relevant people about that they can come and enjoy a company of us, and we can enjoy their company. That's all there is to it. And I don't know how much you talked with Josh, but I'm a very laid-back person about it. My interest is, I'm not at all interested in brainwashing anyone. I'm interested basically in boys and money. That's my personal interest. And if I can do this by being nice to people and to teach them something and provide a good environment, which is basically what I'm doing for Josh, and probably will have another couple of people coming along, I see it as good work. I don't see it I don't actually see it as a spiritual activity. It is, in the sense that I'm helping you, And another thing is that, what do you want? Do you want to discover knowledge on your own? Or go to the source where it was already discovered and basically make it faster, a lot faster? And that's the point why you're going to college. Well, maybe you don't particularly like being at college, but why do you go there? You say you want to become a mathematician. Yeah, there were a couple of mathematicians in the last 200 years who discovered calculus on their own. But even people like Einstein studied calculus in school. because that's just a more efficient way of doing it. And yes, you can, if you are very good in math, you can read a math textbook and learn it that way. And we are absolutely interested in people who are motivated. We're not a group of people where you will come and then we'll say, oh, you need to do this and that. No, if you're not interested, it's okay. We can find someone who is interested. Yeah. But that's basically why spiritual organizations come together. Another thing about me is that I'm getting in that place in life, getting old, where I feel like I'm ready to give back, and it's not something contrived, it's just natural, and in fact it happened quite dramatically last year. It's like before that I was thinking, what can I get? And now, last year, I stopped being a loner, because I used to like to be alone. Now I like to be with people. I feel actually that something is wrong if I'm alone. And this is very dramatic. I mean, I know there is astrological reason for it, but it's very dramatic for me. It's like many of my old friends, they can't believe that. It's like it's out of character for me. But I derive pleasure, with emphasis on pleasure, by having young people around me who contribute in some ways, and I contribute in other ways. So it's a very mutually rewarding, environment for me. And if it's not rewarding for you, what the hell are you doing here? Go and get somewhere else where it's rewarding for you. And don't look for perfection. If you think that I'm perfect, you're in dreamland. Or if you think that this environment is going to be perfect, it's also dreamland. There will be lots of small and maybe not so small problems, but they'll be in your life anyway. And you probably already had more than enough small and not so small problems. So, and they'll continue to be like this. And as you get older, you will learn how to negotiate these situations better and not get into trouble as much. Or you can cause trouble on purpose. Like I decided to get myself a PhD just because I was bored and I wanted to do something challenging. And at that time, that sounded to be the most interesting, combination of factors, and it was a challenge. But, I would say that 95%, 90% of the time it was worth it. Would I want to do it again? Hell no. But I think writing this book is probably going to be a very similar challenge to the dissertation. But the difference is that with the dissertation, in many ways I was very competent, in many other ways I wasn't. With modern serious spiritual precepts, I'm 100% competent. So it's a joy work for me. I also can dictate my own style in any way. I can write in whichever way I feel. And I'm at such a place in my life where I know what is my style. I know what, so it's extremely rewarding to be where I am at. Not yet quite dead, but wise. So, does that answer your question? Yeah. I mean it. I'm not. I mean it really, really directly. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But also, kind of coming back to that, it seems that you may have already really said it, but it's the beauty. Yeah, the beauty of the organization and having all these people come together is basically to have that reinforcement. Mm-hmm. As we're again doing it on your own, you can do that, and it's no doubt about it. A lot of this is on your own. I mean, the doors are always open, you have to go through them. But the organization basically provides you a very conducive platform to really go after what you want, because you have others that will reinforce you, coach you when you need coaching, provide you love when you need love. It's basically an encouragement to keep you going wherever you really want to go.
Well, think about it this way. Modern seers, by my own intention, is based on love. I don't want to have weird people around me. I want to have people who are loving around me. Not perfect, if you're 100% loving, it means you need to have very major psychotherapy, but, or you're already, the thing is, but the point is that, we want to have people around us who are interesting, loving, and when I mean loving, they really care for one another, really do, okay, that kind of environment. The family which none of us completely had, okay, at the same time, there's a difference between being with your parents who are madly attached to you and being in modern Syrians. Now, we value our time with you, so, if you spend 10 years with us and suddenly decide to go, you better have a good reason, because we invest time in you and you invest the time in us. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's not a cult, in the sense that we're not interested for you to stay here if you really need to be there. If you want to go there, you go there. If you want to stay here, it's fine. Okay? Now there are also, again, there are commitments. It's like, for example, if you decide that you're going to stay here, say, for a year, and you take on a job of, I don't know, webmaster or whatnot, something, and then suddenly you decide to change your mind, which is fine, but you have to realize that you affect other people. This is not a job like working in McDonald's or even working for Microsoft or whatnot, where you can give 2 weeks notice and leave. With us, you can do this. You can give 2 minutes notice and leave. But we're a family, so if you do that, we want it to be a little bit more gradual, if you know what I mean. So. And again, like when we become big and we have hundreds of people, then for jobs you become replaceable. Right now we're small, But all I'm trying to say in a long-winded way is that you can come and go as you please. Okay, there is no. It's free. Okay, we are not trying to corral people and keep them in one spot and feed them with Kool-Aid or whatnot, I mean, from tantric point of view, there are many different levels of the relationship you can have with me, but at this point, we're talking about at the level you're asking, okay? So you can take on higher commitments, that's a different story, but we're not talking about it right now, And another thing is that if you look deeper at what we are doing, not just modern seers, but any serious spiritual endeavor, you don't have any other choice. You have, what is spiritual path? It's basically a way to sidestep your ego. So like right now you're young, so you love playing with your mind and with your body and with other people. And that is, on one hand, great. On another hand, this is the cause of separation between you and God. Something we were talking about yesterday. What is spirituality? It's basically bridging small self with big self. So once you understand that there is no other way than to get rid of your ego, you start asking yourself, what's the most efficient way of doing it? And for some person, it may be walking in the forest. For another person, meditating 10 hours a day, and for a third person, it would be joining, a tantric-based organization like we are, where it's a very strongly guru-centric organization. So, and it depends on who you are. Different people are, have different. They do different paths. But Tantra is, on one hand, is more risky than other paths, but it also guarantees you, if you play the cards right, that you'll get self-realization in one lifetime, rather than in several. That is not just my idea. You can go on the internet and don't read the bullshit Tantra, but if you read original good sources by good gurus, they will all tell you that there is no other way, that is the most efficient way to get yourself to the end of your life, and I mean spiritually, is to get a teacher, a certain kind of teacher. And those teachers, scare you out of your mind right now. They're called crazy wise teachers. Crazy wisdom is a wisdom that doesn't have any bounds. And you can go on the internet and you can type crazy wisdom and you will see a lot of references what it is. It's basically connecting to the vortex, connecting to the innermost self and letting that self express. Like for example, right now, it may appear to you that I use words. I do, but I'm actually devoid of thoughts. They just well up. This is connecting to the Guru principle. He can do that too very well. So, there is a very passionate, intense, strong, loving quality to Tantra. Tantra is a career path, a career of spirituality. This is not beating around the bush. It's walking inside the bush and pulling it, if that's what you want to do. It's a do or die attitude. Well, don't be stupid about it, but basically that's what it is. That's what we're about. And at the same time, please recognize that if you're not ready for it, but you want to be in it, then there's no need to jump in it completely. You can tell us where you're at and jump slowly. No one jumps, by the way, if anybody jumps in this radically right away, they're either, my guru used to say, they're either stupid or they're spies. Because no normal human being is going to just say, okay, you're my guru, I love you very much, okay, now you can beat me to death. It just doesn't happen like this. That kind of trust happens gradually, and it happens, you need to develop it through love, not through anything, any other thing. If it's any other thing, that's a defective tantric relationship. It has to come. Have you seen the movie Unmistaken Child?
No.
Give it to him. Mm-hmm. It's about a 27-year-old monk who just lost his teacher, and the more I think about this movie, that movie has many aspects. Okay, so not all of them are positive. Okay, and I'll let you see the documentary, not because I'm worried about spoiling it, but it's just I want you to form your own opinion. But it's interesting that a young boy, 5 or 6 years old, he saw a monk meditating in a cave about an hour up the mountain from his village. And he was so attracted that he went and he spent 20 years with that guru. It's all based on love. So as you can imagine, the 6-year-old child, he wasn't practicing meditation the way you would be doing. He was too young. But the feeling was there. And you can see how much love this young man has for his guru. And, you look at this and you say, married? No. Gay? Definitely not. They're all monks. What is this? Well, I can tell you. All love is conditional, except the love between brothers on the spiritual path and their guru. Because, like your parents want you to wipe their butt when they're old. They will never admit it to you, but they have that secret hope. An employer wants you to work. Your children want you to wipe their butt when they're young and then feed them until they're 35 and hopefully longer than that. Okay? But they're all this weird, but true spiritual relationship asks, what can I help you with so that your life gets better? Not selfish, but selfless. Not stupid selfless, but intelligent one. And these are the people, gurus, and frankly, the disciples should be the same way. They give their life for service. And they get incredible joy from it. You can look up online Bodhisattva path. That's what we're talking about, really. And this is not something you do out of your mind. You do it out of your love. It naturally unfolds. The moment you have real self-understanding, you will just laugh at doing something selfish. and you start thinking, okay, what can I do for another person? Doesn't mean that you cannot buy a new stereo, you can, but it naturally, you feel joy helping another person. And you don't go out of your way to do it, it just naturally comes out from you. And you guys should sit for 4 or 5 hours in meditation. So you don't move around like this.
Yeah.
It's okay. It will happen. It takes 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Am I somewhere? Is brainwashing doing well?
Brainwashing is fantastic. Feels so good.
It's a nice shower in there.
So clean.